Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and today I have a special guest, my friend Michael. Actually, he's Abdullah because he's a Muslim. Abdullah, would you mind to introduce yourself and tell us about yourself, about your background?
I was born Michael. I became a Muslim and then I took on the name of Abdullah, which is the slave of Allah. I come from California in the United States and was from a single mom. So I had it pretty tough growing up, but I always had a desire to be successful in my life. To increase myself in knowledge and to perfect myself. And so I would describe myself really as a student of knowledge because I'm always trying to learn new stuff, whether it's in my religion, my business, my family, relationships, everything, really.
Yeah, it's really important and a good thing because, you know, here in the United States, when I talk with some people, so they don't really know about anything outside of United States. So just a little bit limited minded, don't think out of the box. Not all of them, but especially in a rural area. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. For sure.
Even when I traveled from Illinois to Utah, in Wyoming, I think I went one local cafe and everyone just looked at me like, who is that guy? Yeah, it's good to learn and explore new things. And the reason why I invited Abdullah here today, because in one of my recent videos, I showed you that in Utah we have a booming construction going on for the past maybe 5-10 years, right? And Abdullah actually looked at this opportunity and launched his own business. A little bit more than 1 year, he is running his construction business and working as a contractor, right? Ребят, сейчас я вам покажу офис Абдуллы. Офисное здание называется Spaces, находится в городе Лихай, в том самом городе, где находятся офисы моей компании. Это совершенно новое здание, а оно еще пока не совсем заполнено, поэтому они предлагают большие скидки для тех компаний, которые хотят здесь заселиться. Давайте посмотрим, это я сейчас на первом этаже. Вот здесь сзади меня это вход. Сразу же у входа мы видим места для посетителей, которые могут здесь сидеть и ждать, например, тому, кому они пришли с двух сторон. Впереди у нас 4 лифта. И вот эта компания, которая сейчас находится в этом офисном здании. Также здесь есть Microsoft. Дальше мы проходим в лобби. Здесь обычно сидит ресепшенист, который отвечает на все запросы посетителей, если кому-то надо пройти. Это немного, если вы творческий человек, хотите порисовать, здесь для вас тоже найдется кое-что интересное. То, что я вам показал, это были крупные компании, а более мелкие компании представлены здесь. Вот эта компания Абдуллы. Как я уже отметил, здесь сидит ресепшенист. Сейчас его нет, потому что мы уже снимаем почти 6:30. Но просто так в это здание не войдешь, так как здесь серьезные компании, такие как Microsoft. Поэтому security здесь на первом месте. Итак, я сейчас показываю полностью весь этот холл, лобби этого здания. Здесь, можно сказать, как кафе. Но ничего здесь не готовят, люди просто могут спуститься, поговорить друг с другом, почитать книгу, посидеть просто в спокойной, тихой обстановке. Также здесь кофемашины. It was included or I have to pay? We do have to pay, unfortunately. Okay. Да, но здесь надо платить за кофе. Здесь Visa карт, также вот различные виды кофе и напитки. Что самое интересное, здесь есть велосипеды, которые вы можете взять и прокататься во время обеда, или вам нужно до шоппинг-центра, который здесь недалеко, буквально через дорогу, где-то километра 2-3 отсюда. То есть вы можете взять этот велосипед, покататься и потом вернуть. Это тоже небольшой такой стол для тех, кто, например, пришел на ланч. Ну, в основном здесь, как американцы заказывают еду, они могут спуститься, чтобы в офисе не кушать, и здесь покушать вместе с коллегами. Точно так же, как и делается и у нас. Это удобное место для того, чтобы почитать книжку и положить ноги. И обратите внимание, здесь все предусмотрено даже для людей с ограниченными способностями. Вы видите, подъем такой и ручки. Столы для того, чтобы здесь работать на компьютере, розетки все необходимые. Скорость интернета здесь шикарная, я только что здесь подсоединился. А это такое место, если вам хочется поработать, но так, чтобы вас никто не видел и вы никого не видели, вы можете спустить вот эту штору, а также повернуть это кресло, и вы будете буквально изолированы. Сейчас посмотрим, да, как это работает. Вот таким образом. Вот видите? Вот так закрыто, и никого не видно, ничего не видно. Abdullah, how much is square feet right now?
For this lobby area?
No, I mean for office. How much for square feet? The rent?
Oh, it depends. So it depends on where the office is, if it's on the inside or if it's the outside, if it's a corner office. The cheapest office right now is like $360, and then you can
For square feet, right?
No, that's for a month. For the cheapest office.
For cheapest
yeah.
office.
And
How
then,
big is it?
It's like 40 square feet
40?
or something like that. And then you can get offices that are a couple $1,000s a month.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like the outside corner office. So you got the really nice view.
Okay.
Couple 100 square feet.
Это офисы внутри этого здания. Внутрь сейчас зайти не могу, так как нужны ключи и нужно разрешение администрации. How many offices in this building?
I don't know, hundreds. There's a lot.
И на каждом офисе есть вот такой холодильник. Кухня, да, небольшая, где можно себе что-то приготовить. Микроволновая печка, посудомоечная машинка. What is this?
This is an ice maker.
Ice maker?
Yeah.
Да, здесь американцы любят лед.
Dishwasher.
And plates, да.
Yep. They take care of all the dirty dishes for us. We don't ever have to
You don't wash it,
just
right?
use them, put them in there, and they take care of it.
Принтер, факс, все включено в этот рент. And also, can you show me the gym
You gotta go downstairs.
downstairs? And what is there?
So this is just more offices.
Can you tell us about your business and what you do and what's the difference between contractors?
Our business is Diin Construction. You can check us out online at diinconstruction.com. Basically, we are a general contractor, in which what that means is that if you think about it, with a sports team, you have all of the players on the field, and then you have the coach that organizes all those players. A general contractor is kind of like that coach. We organize all of the different labor. We organize all of the materials that are needed to complete a project. We take care of all the permitting processes. If we need to have engineers sign off on engineering letters, survey letters, anything like that, your general contractor is going to take care of all of that for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we are specifically a residential, though our license being a general contractor, we can do commercial as well, but we just choose not to. That's not our focus. But yeah, then you have different types of contractors underneath a general contractor, and these are called subcontractors. So like somebody will do framing, somebody will do painting, somebody will do tile work.
Mm-hmm.
Those are subcontractors. They can't hire out or manage a project on their own. They have to have somebody like me to do that. And to become a general contractor, you have to take some schooling, and then you have to take a very difficult exam that has like a 60 or 70% failure rate. Some people joke and say it's harder than an attorney's exam for law school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true, but it is a very difficult test. And so that's why most subcontractors never become a general contractor,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have to take that test. They just have to know their specific field that they do, and then they can only...
I know a lot of construction is going on, but how difficult to find a customer to, nail this deal? How you deal with this? Do you do some marketing job?
So
Tell
when we
us about
started
it.
out, everything was Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups. And that's how we started getting jobs initially. initially. And there's a lot of competition on Facebook, but the great thing about Facebook is that it's free marketing, but it's just labor intensive. So you got to do all the marketing yourself. You got to keep posting over and over and over again without spamming. You don't want to do that either. That just turns people off, but you want to have authentic posts. So yeah, I would say like Facebook is one of the best ways that we market. It's free. You can do paid Facebook marketing too, but we don't do that. It's really just a waste of money. The second thing that we do is right away we built a website and we used Google Pro. With that, they help you to develop a website. We did that ourselves. Actually, my wife built that from scratch. And then once you have that, then you want to do some paid Google advertising and SEO optimizations, and that'll really help to get your name out, and that's what we did. And the final piece of the puzzle is once you start getting jobs and you're doing those quality jobs, you're going to start getting referrals from your previous customers because they all have friends and family members that see the work that you did and now they want to hire you. So when we started out, we were 100% advertising on Facebook. That's where all of our jobs came from. Then we started getting some jobs from Google Ads in our website, and now we're getting about 30% of our jobs just from referrals.
And Abdullah, can you tell us about how you deal with your customers? Do you have any sort of a contract, how you deal with the payment and non-payments?
Once we have gone to a customer's house and we've done the walkthrough with them and find out exactly what it is that they're wanting us to do, especially right now, all we do is remodels and basement finishes. So once we figure out exactly what needs to be done, then we cost estimate everything. Usually this takes 1 to 2 days for me to put all
Is
of
it a free estimate or
yes,
you charge
I
something?
never charge. Some people in the industry do charge for an estimate, and usually this is electricians and plumbers that will do that. General contractors, I've never heard of that do a charged estimate. It's always a free. So then once I do all of my cost estimates, how much it's going to cost me to get this job done, how much time and all of that, then I will present that in an official estimate to the customer. If it's something within their budget and they feel good with us and they want to go with us, at that point then we have a contract that needs to be signed, and this basically lays out everything that we're going to be doing on the project and what is expected of the client and what is expected of us. So that way everything's on the table and we are all on the same page so that there's no communication issues. When we sign the contracts, I'll actually usually go through with the customers. We email it to them usually a day before we sign it. That way they can review it, and then I'll go step by step with them, make sure that they understand everything. And then they give us a 50% deposit on most cases. Some cases is a little bit more of a deposit, and then we get started. And the first thing that we do is we pull the permits to do the work. And almost all work that you do has to have a building permit and an inspection from the
Even
city.
basement?
Yes. So what a lot of people don't know, in the state of Utah, it is actually a misdemeanor crime, a Class A, punishable up to a year in jail and $100,000 fine if you finish your basement without a permit.
Really?
Yes. So don't finish your basements unless you have a permit. Even if you're just the homeowner and you're going to do it yourself, go and get the permit first. Get the inspections
good
done.
to know. Guys, for this advice, you have to smash this like button.
Smash it. Like we do nails in the wall. Unfortunate story of one of my clients who called me up. He just bought this house with the intention, the basement was already finished, and he wanted to rent it out as supplemental income, and then him and his wife live upstairs. Unfortunately, the previous owner finished that basement with no permits. So you have to get a permit just to rent out a basement. So when he went to get his renter's permit, they said, we don't have any building permit for that basement being finished. So now they had to come out and they inspected the house and they found all kinds of things that were wrong. And so we had to tear out a lot of that basement.
So you
and
rebuild it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And another thing that I was just thinking right now, then whenever who wants go and buy the house, and if they see that the basement is finished, we need to ask.
With the city. Check with the city and make sure that there was a building permit for that basement to be finished.
Okay, you finished the job, but the customer doesn't want to pay.
So in the state of Utah, it's very contractor friendly, the way that the law is written. And the reason is because we're taking on so much liability when we do these jobs. We have so much material and labor costs that if a client doesn't pay us. There's no way for us to go and get that basement back. Like if you buy a car and you don't pay for it, the car lot comes and takes the car back. We can't do that as contractors. So what we have is called the Utah Mechanics Lien, and that gives the contractor the right. Now you have to be a licensed contractor. This only works if you're licensed. If you're not licensed, you have absolutely no recourse whatsoever. But for a licensed contractor, if the client were not to pay, even though your work was up to professional standards, and this is key, because if somebody goes in, doesn't matter if you have a license or not, but you do a terrible job and it's obvious that that's not up to professional standards, you're not gonna get your lien. At least you won't win it. But if you did it up to professional standards, then you could file a lien against that property, which basically makes you co-owner of that property now. Fortunately, we've never had to do that. We've always been able to make sure that all our clients are super happy. And really, it just comes down to the fact that most people will pay their bill, especially if you have it in the contract and you explain that ahead of time. This is one piece of our contract. It's the final part of our contract that explains that if the client does not pay when the job is completed, this could happen.
This lien means, just explain for someone who doesn't know a little details, that the bank, if they didn't pay mortgage full, the bank can foreclose the property, right?
So if the person owns the home outright, they don't have any bank involved, the lien is kind of pointless, because you can't foreclose on a house that the people don't have any debt to a bank to. But if they have a mortgage and you put a lien on that house, then you can force it into foreclosure, which means it has to be sold. So it really only works if they have a mortgage, but almost everybody has a mortgage. It really does help the contractors to resolve these payment issues. As long as the contractor is a good contractor, they did good work, then they have a right to do that. But if it's just a bad contractor just trying to get money for nothing, then it's a waste of time, because the court will get involved and the court will say, no, you did not do a good job, so you're not going to get anything.
And so you're in this business for more than 1 year, and how busy are you? How does it keep you busy, or are you having trouble finding clients?
No, so when we started out, I mean, literally I worked 7 weeks straight on our first basement. And I did a lot of the labor myself, which is why I had to work for 7 weeks straight. I only took 1 day off. It was the only day I could take off to get the job done on time. That was exhausting. But, you know, when you're first starting out, you just have to sacrifice. But as we've been able to build up a reputation, we have referrals coming in from clients. We have a good subcontractor base now. I don't have to work as hard as I did when I first started. But if you own a business, you're always working.
And how many employees you have right now?
So the way that our company is set up, we have tried taking on some full-time employees. It just didn't really work out for the way that our company is set up, because our company is really set up to hire subcontractors. And so we hire them for a specific job for a specific duration, and then that's it. You know, they move on to the next job, and then when we have another job for them, we just bring them back and they do it. Pretty much it's just my wife runs all the administrative parts of the business, and I run all of the managerial parts of the business.
Okay. Did you have any issues with contractors if they fail their job, or they finish it not like
up to standard?
Up to standard.
Yeah, I mean, we've come across less than up to standard subcontractors in some of our projects. We were able to get all of them to come back and fix it, except for one plumbing company. Their work was just so bad that I didn't even want them to come back and fix it, so I just fired them in the middle of it, paid them for the work that they had done, and then I just brought in another plumber to fix all of their mistakes. You know, I'm not a plumber, so when I noticed that the work is that bad, that means your work is bad. So at that point, we just had to let them go. But other than that, I mean, subcontractors are always trying to get to the next job. That's how they make their money. And sometimes they will make mistakes. But that's my job as the general contractor, is quality control. And so when I see the quality is not good, I let the subcontractor know, hey, you need to come back and fix this. And the way my leverage on that is, almost all jobs, I buy all the material. So they have no upfront expenses, so I don't give them any upfront money. And then once the job is complete, and usually they're in and out within several hours to a few days, so they don't need money upfront. That's my leverage to make sure that they do a good job, because they're not going to get paid until the job is done.
When you started, you worked 7 days a week. How you spend your time with family and work? How many hours in a week you working?
As a business owner, you always work 7 days a week, no matter if it's like when I first started out, I'm in somebody's basement covered in paint and mud and dust and debris, or I'm online dealing with customers, supplies, or whatever, or on the weekends I'm doing a lot of marketing on Facebook and Google Ads, stuff like that. So you're always working as a business owner. But now that we're a little bit more established, I make sure that the weekends, as much as possible, is for family. And then obviously as a Muslim, I always make sure that I'm at Jummah and I try to get to the masjid as much as I can. You have to have that balance, otherwise you'll burn out. When I first started out the business, like, I wanted to burn out. It was tough.
Yeah, it's not a way to grow. What's your plans for future for your company?
You know, what we would really like to see is, we started out as this very small, no budget. I mean, literally we started out of the back of my Subaru, packing as much tools and material in there as I possibly could. Eventually I worked my way up to getting a work truck or work van that I converted into a work van, and tools and stuff like that, and doing small jobs from drywall repairs to, our biggest job at that time was finishing a basement and adding a bathroom, to building houses from scratch and custom homes. That's eventually where we want to go. Right now we're still not building any new structures. All we're doing is remodels and basement finishes. But in the next 5 years or so, we would like to get to the point where we can do the custom homes. But to get to that point where you can do custom homes, I mean, these homes are over $1 million. You have to have a very big network of subcontractors. You have to have project managers. You have to have material experts, and you have to work with designers. So we're not quite there yet, but that's the ultimate goal in the next 5 years, is that we will start to become a custom home builder. We'll kind of transition from remodel company to custom home builder.
For those who will be thinking about this contractor job, what you can suggest and how much approximately they would make in first 2 years?
The first thing that you need to do is you got to get your contractor's license, and you'll have to, every state has their own way of doing this, but usually you'll have to either do some schooling or at least take some classes that the state will require.
Did you take the classes?
Yes, I did.
Here in Utah?
Yeah. And then after those classes, depending on the contractor license you're trying to get, whether it's a subcontractor license or it's a general contractor's license or a specialty license like an electrician or a plumber or a mechanical, then there might be some additional schooling you have to do, plus some internship that you'll have to do, and then you have to go and take a really massive test. For the subcontractors like a carpenter or a tile layer, usually they don't have a test that they have to take. They just have to take a few classes, and really the classes are just to help them learn the business side of being a contractor, because it's expected that they already know how to do what they do. So then the next thing I recommend is getting your business license, and I recommend either getting an LLC or an S Corp for that.
Abdullah, can you tell me about the taxes? How much you have to pay and what the difference between LLC and S Corp?
The LLC is the easiest and cheapest to set up. It ranges from state to state, but you can expect to spend a couple of $100 getting your LLC. You're going to have a bunch of paperwork you got to fill out, but it's not that. And there are companies out there that do all of your paperwork for you for a fee of $400 or $500 if you can't do it yourself. But I recommend the LLC because as an LLC, it being the easiest to set up, and you can just do it as a sole proprietor, but you get all of the tax benefits if you choose as an S Corp. And this will really be big when it comes time to actually paying your taxes. As a business owner, an LLC in your first year, especially in the construction trades, you're probably not going to pay any taxes at all. In fact, our first year, we got a check from the IRS. So we didn't have to pay taxes, they paid us.
We will meet again.
Yep. Absolutely. And if you guys haven't subscribed to his channel, you need to subscribe right now because he has some really cool stuff. Part of your channel is in Russian, but some of your videos are also in English. So if you're watching this English version of it, just check out his English stuff. And if you want to learn some Russian, just watch his videos because they're in Russian.
See you guys.